Hey guys, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a sit-down discussion video because this has been on my mind for a while now, but some announcements that have come out in the last couple of days have really caused me to want to speak on this a little bit more. So I reached out on Twitter and on Instagram stories and I asked if everyone, one, would even want to hear about what I think about this issue, and two, where I would do it. And everyone kind of said talk about it and do it on YouTube, so that's what I'm doing. I'm actually just a few hours away from leaving on my trip to Vegas, so I need to film this, edit it, and get it up quick. There's so much on my mind. I really just want to get it all out and get it out there, so I'm trying to film before the sun goes down, but bear with me if the lighting gets a little sketch. I'm also trying out a new camera setting for the first time, so if that's a little funky, sorry about that too. Today I want to talk about what it means to be a smaller creator, meaning someone who has a following, I guess I can say like less than 10,000. I have less than 10,000 followers on Instagram, and my blog traffic, I guess it would count as, would also be in the smaller range because that's also under like 10,000 page views a month. So I would consider myself a smaller creator, and I think a lot of people who follow me are either people who are looking to become content creators. Either you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start a blog, you want to write and become published or produce some kind of content for people, usually digital, or you know, support and follow and engage with the content from people like me who just really love creating for people like you. These big changes that platforms and networks are making impact us all. It hits the creator just as much as it hits the consumer. I just want to talk about what it means and why it always seems to be us that get the short end of the stick here. So I have a lot of notes, and I'm gonna try to keep this brief and to the point and not rant too much, but I would love to get a discussion started in the comments. I want to hear from you guys and hear what your thoughts are, what your thoughts on this issue are. So let's get started. On January 16th, YouTube announced channels with less than 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed would be demonetized and not be eligible to monetize their videos. I think that shook a lot of people. I was kind of bummed when I got it because I have had a YouTube channel for literally less than 30 days. It gave everyone a 30-day window to either reach those two milestones or your channel would be automatically demonetized. And they did say that anyone who had previously monetized their videos who they owed money to would be cashed out once this change took effect. So you would still get your check if you had earnings, even if you didn't meet those two. You would still get a check even if you didn't meet those two eligibility items, so without the subscriber count or the hours viewed. A lot of people freaked out about this. YouTube even said in their announcement that they knew that the bulk of people who would really be hit by this are smaller creators, that there are people who were making less than $100 a month, even in like the couple buck range, and they knew that it would, you know, impact them and hurt them. And YouTube isn't the first platform to make a big change like this that automatically impacts smaller creators or people with lower followings. We've been talking about Instagram's algorithm for what seems like forever, and we all acknowledge that it is the worst thing that's ever happened to a platform ever, and we all just want our chronological feeds back. But again, the algorithm directly impacts smaller creators being able to be discovered by new accounts. If you have less than 1,000 followers and only 10% of your followers even see your content, the chances of you getting that exposure, making the explore page, things like that, become slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, and it's very frustrating. I know I'm not the only one that's frustrated. Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. They're basically one and the same, so you can kind of predict where one is going to go when the other makes an announcement. And at the end of the day, this is all to please advertisers. And anyone can put out any announcement that they want and claim that it's for the community or to benefit creators, but we all know that at the end of the day, these platforms have to answer to advertisers, and I'm not mad at that. Advertisers are the reason why these platforms are able to be free to us, to content creators, and to consumers. I want their advertisers to be pleased as well because it means that I still have platforms that I get to experiment on. I love taking and editing photos for Instagram. I'm having so much fun doing video on YouTube, and I want them to continue to thrive as companies. All I'm saying is these platforms need to remember that the creators are the ones that built them to this level. There was a point in time where advertisers weren't even thinking about Facebook as an option, and it's the users who have been able to position them as the powerhouse and the media company that they are. And I think that they owe us a little bit more acknowledgement and respect for the fact that without the user, without the creator, without the people putting content on those platforms, they don't have anything to offer advertisers. It's super disheartening to me and really discouraging as a content creator that it's people with followings like mine who are the first to get punished, especially when these changes come about as a result of a big community impacted moment, like Logan Paul, for example. The way that smaller creators are responding to these changes is also really discouraging to me, and this is why. So I get it that we're all trying to beat an algorithm, we're all trying to be seen and get noticed and just grow a little bit better. We all want to share our content with as many people as we possibly can. The way that people are going about doing it now, to me, seems very disingenuous, and I don't like the way that the community has kind of become just one big engagement pod. So let's talk about engagement pods. I've been invited to them before and I've never participated in one, but I could completely understand why someone would be enticed to join one. And for anyone who doesn't know, an engagement pod basically are these groups that live primarily on Instagram, even though I imagine there's some for Facebook too. And basically it's a group of bloggers who get together and they decide that they're gonna, as soon as someone posts, you like DM the group, and then that whole group will go and leave a comment of like a certain length and like your post to help you get that instant engagement, so that when when Instagram sees your post, it gets boosted up in the news feed, and then more of your followers will see your content. It's basically a way to try to cheat the Instagram algorithm, but all you're really doing is cheating yourself. What places less value on your content is when you do things like that to try to cheat the system that really just make you look bad. And brands know, anyone who's trying to do this because they want to be seen by brands, like, people talk. I work in PR full time, and these are things that I look for because I know that that means that you value quick engagement over quality content, and you're not someone that I think my company should work with. People talk, people know that you're buying followers. Another thing that has come up in the last maybe 2 or 3 years is Instagram's algorithm has changed, where suddenly you see someone goes from 5,000 followers to 15,000 followers and then to 30,000 followers, but they're still only getting 300 likes per photo. We can tell what you're doing. And I think by far the worst of this are these spammy comments that are not even from spam accounts. They're real bloggers who want just so desperately to be seen that they don't even care to create a genuine connection and relationship with a fellow content creator. It's the people that leave the heart emoji and the nice pic and the cute girl comments on my Instagrams that I don't want to acknowledge. Like, I kind of almost want to delete them, because it's like, you're only doing that because you're hoping that I go back and then do the same for you. And it's like, you don't care about my content, I probably won't care about yours, and we're just having this disingenuous moment for the sake of getting our engagement rates up, and that's not what it's about. I've been blogging off and on for like, what, 8-9 years now, and I can honestly say I love it just as much today as I did when I first discovered what a blog even was, before everyone was on Twitter, before there was even Instagram. And I joined YouTube because, not just because I wanted to earn extra income, that's definitely a longer term goal, but I wanted to create new and exciting content for the people that decide to follow me, and people that have thought that the content that I'm already producing is useful. I wanted to give them something new and a new way to connect with and engage with me, and I thought that video would be a really cool way to do that. If you're a smaller creator and you don't have the numbers and the following that you wanted, that you think you deserve, I understand, I get it, I'm right there with you. But if your why isn't because you just genuinely love to create good content, then you need to just stop altogether. You have to be in it for the right reasons, or it's never going to feel good to you, and your audience is never going to connect with you because they know you're here for numbers and money, and not because you love doing this and love connecting with people. That's the point of all this. This is what this community is all about. Let's go back to when people left real comments on blogs, real comments on social posts. Like, let's go back to when the most exciting moments you had is when you got to meet like someone who you'd only known through their blog at a conference in person. Like, those moments are what I'm here for. Those connections are what I'm here for. I've met so many amazing people through blogging, so many amazing people, and there are so many people who I love following just because I love seeing their take on life. I appreciate so much that they work so hard that I'm happy to engage with their content. And I hope that's why people are happy to engage with my content, not because there's a requirement in some Facebook group that says they have to like my post. As tiring and frustrating as it is that these big changes always seem to impact people with smaller numbers and still let people with much larger numbers get away with a lot of shady things, I don't think that we should spend too much time being discouraged by it. I was watching a video last night from Sean of Think Media, and he had a good point. YouTube yesterday or 2 days ago took away your ability to monetize your videos if you don't meet those two criteria. Instagram has taken away your ability to be seen by a vast majority of your audience, so is Facebook. But what they haven't taken away your ability to do is to publish content. So you can still put your best content out there and serve the people who are able to see it and who do follow you and have elected to see your content as best as you can. And I thought that his message about it was really optimistic and really positive, so I'm going to link that in the description. I also don't think we should spend too much time harping on these changes because there's going to continue to be changes. They're going to keep pleasing advertisers however they can, even if that means that no one sees your content again. There are so many other ways that you can connect, share, and even make money online that you can't put it all on these social networks. At the beginning of the year, I wrote a blog post that said I only had one true blogging goal, and that was to pour everything back into the platforms that I own, and I meant that wholeheartedly. I'm so tired of chasing algorithms, of keeping up with changes. I only want to focus on the things that I can control, and I can control a couple of things and not worry about the rest. I can control how many times a blog post goes up on the site every single week. I can control the quality of that post, the photography in that post, the creativity of the ideas I'm putting out. I can control the equipment that I'm using for video and for photo. I can control all of those things, and worrying about silly things like algorithms and monetization statuses really does not even concern me, because those platforms aren't mine. So yes, it's harder to grow online now. Yes, it's harder to get those big numbers than it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And yes, it's very frustrating that these platforms almost seem to be working against the creator. Though it's disheartening, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean stop. It means be strategic and think about where your time really should be invested as a creator, especially one that's trying to serve your audience better and grow more in the future. Go home and make a list of all the ways you could invest in what you own. Think about things that you can spend your money on that are really going to garner the results you want to see. Yeah, you can buy 10,000 followers, or you can take all of that money and buy a new camera or a new blog design. It's also so important that creators support each other in an authentic way. I don't really like the approach of this whole like share for share mentality, like, oh, I will share your content if you share mine. Like, no, I share my friends who are content creators work because I think it's good and I know my audience will like it. That's it. That's the only criteria that I go by. And I hope that people only share my content because they think it's good and that their audiences will appreciate, like, and learn from it. Otherwise, there's no pressure to ever share anything that I do, and I would never ask someone to share my work just for the sake of another share. Like, that's not worth it to me. I've had the opportunity to work with some really cool brands since I've been blogging and being on social media, but anytime that there's an opportunity that comes my way that I know I may not be a fit for or I just don't want to take on, I always recommend someone else in my network to that brand, just to, one, make sure they're aware of this person, and two, hopefully pass on some extra income and traffic and opportunities to the next creator. Like, it's not a competition. We can all eat. We don't have to, like, it's not a dog eat dog world out there. Yes, the community is oversaturated. There are 1,000,005 content creators, but there's only one you. So as long as you're doing what you're doing well and being true to you, there's never going to be anyone that can bump you out of your spot. Share others' work, share opportunities, support their content, leave actual meaningful comments, leave a like if you actually like what they're posting. Don't just keep scrolling because you feel like, oh, if her post has 300 likes and mine only has 180, what does that say about me? It says nothing about either of you. It's just a number. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. I really wish that those larger content creators would speak up when it comes to how these platforms are shifting, because a lot of times, like I said, these new enhancements and innovations directly positively impact them and negatively impact us. And while I know that they don't aren't the ones sitting in these boardrooms making decisions. They are the ones that these platforms listen to because they're garnering the most attention for those advertisers. So imagine the power that you would have as someone with 2 million Instagram followers or 5 million YouTube subscribers if when you get to go into those spaces, and you do get to go into those spaces, they are often calling on content creators and creating these bigger strategic partnerships to help better their platforms. That should be something that you bring up. Bring up the fact that you are concerned that other content creators aren't able to thrive on these platforms anymore. It doesn't mean they'll listen, it doesn't mean they'll even take it into consideration, but I think it would go a long way in kind of like the balancing of the playing field. If you are not a content creator but this matters to you at all, which it must because you're watching this video, support the people who you consume content from however you can. If someone has a Patreon account and you are able to give, then give something to that creator. All of the content that you're consuming from blogs, Instagram, on Twitter, it's all free usually. People pay a monthly sub cost to the New York Times. Well, I'm sure if a blogger did that, it would be like the end of the world and everyone would rage against her or him. So if you are consuming content from someone who you love, you think they're awesome, you think they do great work, support them in a way that's actually going to impact them positively. Leave good comments on their posts. A blogger recommends a product to you and you end up using it and loving it, let them know, like write them a DM or leave a comment saying, I got this because of you and I'm so glad I did, because then they can take that back and use it as leverage when they're going to get partnerships and sponsorships, and then that only results in bigger and better content for you to consume. It all comes full circle and it's so important that you support. Okay, I have been ranting for far too long, so I'm gonna wrap this up now. I guess my final words are, content creators, no matter what your size is, you're relevant, you matter, your content matters, and it's up to you to figure out where to best invest your time, your energy, and your resources. And I highly recommend investing in things you own. If you aren't already blogging or have a website or some kind of web hub where all of your content lives, I suggest you do that in 2018. If you don't have a mailing list, I think you should get on that in 2018. We're focused on things that can't change, that can't be taken away from you, things that don't have algorithm. And consumers, keep supporting the creators that you love. Keep clicking, commenting, sharing, giving off words of encouragement and support, and letting brands know that you're happy that this creator exists, because without that creator you may never have discovered that brand. To everyone who has subscribed to this channel, who's read my blog, who follows me on any social platform, I just want to say thank you. Like I said, I do this because I love it, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to get awesome opportunities and meet great people through it, and this community still to this day inspires me more than anything else, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And I appreciate you, because I know there are so many options, there's so many bloggers, there's so many YouTubers, there's so many Instagrammers, and the fact that you decided to follow me means a lot to me. And that's why I read every comment, every DM gets responded to, every email gets responded to, because it really means a lot to me that you take the time out of your day to let me have a small part in it. And I know that you don't have to, and I appreciate it. So that's all for this video. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear if I'm the only one who has these specific thoughts on the issue. Do not be discouraged. There's going to be more change to come, so don't get slow, get strategic. I'm looking forward to the new year and doing new things on the sites and platforms that I own, and I hope you are too. So if you loved this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe to see more videos from me in the future, and I will see you all later. Bye.